Welcome to 15 Minutes with Business Day. On this edition, we'll be speaking with Bolanle Austen-Peters, the founder and managing director of Terrakulture, Nigeria's platinum standard art house. Bolanle, who attended International School Ibadan, the University of Lagos, where she studied law, and the London School of Economics, where she obtained a master's degree in international human rights law, reveals the keys to sustaining a rich culture-based business and much more.
I started Terrakulture in 2003 because I felt that we needed a space where foreigners, Nigerians, anyone could come and experience Nigeria in a nutshell.
When you decided to start this venture in this part of the world where arts is the acceptance for art is still growing, what are the challenges that you faced?
The truth is, Nigerians typically, I think, let's put it this way, there's no blueprint. We started out doing something nobody had really done before on the scale that we wanted to do it. And I was fortunate enough, when I wrote my proposal, I asked financiers, and typically they will advise you that this kind of project, you need this kind of funding, this type of project, you need to talk to these kind of people. And based on that, I was advised to speak to a gentleman called Terrakulture, who is now unfortunately late. And he is somebody who really loved the arts, and he put his money where his mouth was, so to speak. So when I met with him, he said, look, this is something that I'll be interested in doing. And through that, through the SME funds, GT Bank invested in it, and two other investors and myself. And that's how come we started this institution.
Art is not generally viewed as an economic venture, something that people can make a lot of money on, not because it's the state real situation on the ground, but because people are not very aware. How do you generate income from this business?
The sale of artworks, typically how we make our monies from commission on works that we sell here, and also we work with a lot of institutions who want to kit out their offices with artworks. But I think what the auction houses have done now is we've created a platform whereby we can have a scale of reference for artworks, and I think that's sort of like the beginning of bigger things to come, because now we have a reference point. We know that your artwork sold for XYZ last year. Before there was just no reference point, so anybody could say anything about their work. Now we're beginning to have material that we can refer to. And also our art is beginning, we're taking our art out of Nigeria. And as you know, obviously in other parts of the world, there's a lot of disposable income. And I think people recognize that art can be also an investment tool. So what is happening now is Nigerians are also beginning to invest in art. I know some collectors that take this so seriously, you wouldn't even believe it. They invest heavily in art. These people, 30, 40 years later, people will be wondering where their monies came from, because it's really, really tangible assets that they're investing in. And the trend will be like what happened in Europe and America. A couple of years down the line, the works will be worth much more than they put into it. Even I can tell you some stories of works that cost 100,000 naira just 4 or 5 years ago, now are well over 2 million, 3 million. So it's something that is worth looking into if people are paying attention to this side of things.
Okay, how do you handle the challenges that come with being a female executive?
The truth is there are prejudices everywhere in the world. There's prejudices based on race, on color, on gender. You learn to deal with it, you know. When you're outside of Nigeria, people would look at you different because of your color. When you're in Nigeria, men would look at you different in a particular setting. Women do the same as well. So it depends on the context within which you're operating. People come here, they expect to see a man running this. They expect to see, most times, an expatriate. They don't believe, for some reason, that a Nigerian can run this and run it for 10 years and run it successfully and maintain the standards. So there are stereotypes. There's nothing you can do about stereotyping. Are you going to base your life based on stereotypes? I just move on. They make their remarks, oh my goodness, I thought you'd be older, oh my goodness, I thought you'd be younger, oh my goodness. There's always something. But I sort of like ignore all of that and, you know, get to the point. Why are we here? What are you here for? Let's get the job done, and that's my attitude.
seeing that you hit the 10-year mark, what are the goals that you set for the next 10 years, so to speak?
Like I said, one man that did that for me was Terrakulture, and even recently there are other people that have come up, Deji Ali, my husband, people like that. They've just been so supportive of my vision. And what has also been very critical is the fact that the public has been extremely receptive of what we're doing. So I do not need to propagate our message. It is clear to everyone what we're doing. In the 10 years of operation, we've been able to put together over 200 exhibitions. We've created a platform for artists who ordinarily would have their works in their booths, carrying it around. They've been able to come here and showcase their works. Through our gallery, we've been able to get grants from the Ford Foundation. We've had partnerships with the American Consulate. We've done cross-cultural exchange programs. We've worked, created an arts and business council that we used to support the museum, where we raised over $2 million. I was a consultant to that project. We've been able to push the art portfolio so much further than even when I started, would never have imagined. And I think one of our biggest joys was the fact that 6 years ago, I decided that I wanted to start theatre. And theatre, as of 6 years ago, was almost a dying breed. Nobody was doing it. It's primarily because the infrastructure was non-existent, and nobody was showing much of an interest in it. We started. The naysayers said it would not last. We provided the space, and today, needless to say, the evidence is clear that theatre has been resuscitated. We have new directors, new producers, stage managers, costumiers, lighting men, cameramen, so many people that have now that have grown out of this little initiative that we started here. For me, that's probably one of the greatest testament of the fact that we're doing something right. And then if you look at what we've now done with the bigger productions like Saro, which is also going to be an annual thing, where we're slowly changing the face of Lagos as a tourist destination, as a space where people are not only about the crime, about hunger, about poverty, about the fact that we can also string together performances. Young people can do massive choreography, dancers have sprung. What has happened here is actually, for me, I can't express it. It's just been some amazing miracle that Terrakulture has given to most of the Nigerians that enjoy it. And then the last but not the least, shown people the Nigerian food can be served in a very appetizing manner. It can be served in a nice environment. And today, name them, from Hollywood actors, Ben Stiller, Forrest Whitaker, many people, they come here, ambassadors. So there's no greater testament to the fact that we've been able to do something that no one has ever done before. We've promoted Nigerian food just the same way as the Indians promote theirs, the Chinese do theirs, and we're hoping that it can even get better.
How can we get the private sector to invest in the cultural sector or in the culture and tourism industry?
I think primarily that's government's role. The truth of the matter is government has to create the enabling environment. But I also think that most times it's a function of who is at the top of the organization. If you're cultured enough, nobody needs to tell you to invest in arts. If you're sophisticated enough to understand that through doing this, you're promoting your nation, you're promoting yourself because it's your heritage, and more importantly, you're creating jobs and empowering the youths. I think that, needless to say, it should be something that most organizations should support. And I dare say that, in my 10 years of doing this, a lot more organizations are more aware and are showing more interest. It might not be to the level that you would want it, but obviously there's been significant improvement from where we started from. So, is it where it should be? No. Will it get better? Yes. So it's all a waiting game.
Okay. What principles and values sustain you? Seeing the standards that you operate on, they're very high. What principles do you work with?
I think, well, maybe 2 or 3 principles. The first being, I think I got that from my father, hard work. I work very hard. The second one being integrity. I got that my mom is very principled. And the third one is compassion. The truth of the matter is, this is not a very lucrative business. If it's about money, you probably will not stay in it. If it is about adding value, if it's about growing things, it's about if your focus is on the creative mind, you'll be so fulfilled that the monetary aspect will probably not matter to you. So what is critical is the passion. You must be passionate about this. You must be passionate about looking at an artwork and asking yourself, what was going through this person's mind to use so many colors to create such an image? You know, what was going through this sculptor's mind to use metal to design this piece? What was going through this author's mind to write such a creative piece? What challenged the producer to put together such a massive... These are the things that need to be going on in your mind. But if it's about the bottom line, it's not going to work.
And that's something a lot of us in Nigeria carry.
In reality, that's what most people are driven by.
So apart from Saru, are we seeing any new...
Oh, Saru the Musical 2 is coming out December.
Alright, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.